When I found my love of reading as an adult in 2021, I couldn't believe the number of books I had access to. Fast forward 3 years, and I'm still an avid reader, but my list of books I want to read has gotten out of control. I'm constantly adding books and then forgetting why I was excited to read them because it's taking me months or even years to get to them in my ever-growing list. Thankfully for me, as a Kindle reader, I don't have to stare at the stacks of books waiting for me to read them, but when I'm ready to pick up something new, I'm stuck in a decision-making tornado. With so many things to choose from, it can be hard to know what you're in the mood for, and sometimes what you're in the mood for might not even be what you wanted after all. I bet I spend more time trying to decide what to read than I do actually reading. So to help my sanity, I made a jar with over 400 book titles and a select bunch of categories to help me get some books off my TBR come DNF or completion. I used classifications for books that I really want to focus on, such as sequels I haven't made time for and books that are highly rated but I haven't had the chance to pick up yet. While I know my TBR will never reach zero, I want a curated list of books to pick from that is current to my taste and excitement. If I pull a book from the jar and I know I won't enjoy it, it will self-destruct. Not literally, it's just a cool way to say unhaul. I'm starting this challenge with 2,624 books on my Goodreads TBR. Welcome to the Self-Destructing Scoop. Hello! Welcome to episode 1 of Self-Destructing Scoop. I am so excited for this, and full disclosure, this is the second time I've recorded this. There was a technology mishap. I deleted the whole first video. So here we are again. Thankfully, I do still have the footage from the first scoop, so you will get to see that authentically. But for this clip, I'm going to be just talking about the jar and the challenge, so I apologize. This jar is much more empty than you will see it in the next clip, but bear with me, please, because it's been a day. Okay, so I set off on this journey to help pare down my Goodreads TBR. I've been an adult reader since 2021 and trying to go through books that I wanted to read back in April of 2021 up until now in 2024 has been a challenge. I have read enough now that I know what I like, and so a lot of those books that I added before are probably no longer going to fit my taste, but there's only one way to find out, and that's by reading them. So I made this giant jar. I'm obsessed with it. Now, even more so than a month ago when I recorded this intro. But anyway, so this is really quick. I'm just going to talk about the categories and kind of how I made this jar. So there are 14 different categories. I'll put this up here for you guys really quick, and I'll be talking about them all in a second. And each category has about 26 corresponding capsules in the jar because I want it to be somewhat even, evenly distributed. And I really wanted to prioritize on books that I've had on my TBR for the longest and kind of like purge those out so that my TBR is more curated to my taste now and the more recent things that I've been adding to Goodreads. So that's kind of where this all stemmed from. I love people who do like the giant jar with all the slips of paper, but there's just something about these little gumball things that just, the dopamine is just out of control. So that's why I decided to do it this way. So let's talk about the categories super quick. So the first category is aging on my Kindle. So these are books that I have either purchased or got from like a free book promo or something along those lines, but the books are already on my Kindle and ready to read. So I've got 26 of those. Next is aging on my, what I call the cut the line shelf. So when I realized that my TBR was starting to get a little bit out of control, I made this shelf on Goodreads called Cut the Line, where I could add newer books to it and like mark them as like, oh, cut the line. So like read these ones first because you know you're probably going to like them. That's also a little out of control now. So it's probably done its part in some ways. So these are the books that I added to my TBR and have been on the TBR Cut the Line shelf for the longest. So they should have been cutting the line a while ago, but they didn't. So that is the next category. To mirror that, I also have a recently added to the Cut the Line shelf. Self-explanatory. These have been added more recently. I'm pretty excited to read them, and I want to prioritize the books that I'm excited to read as well as those aging books that are on on my book radar for sure. The next one might be my favorite one. This one is for backlist authors. So I went through some of my favorite authors, like authors I consistently give 4 or 5 stars to. I will pretty much read anything that they write. And I picked a few titles from their backlist that I haven't read yet and added those to the jar. Like I said in the last category, I want to prioritize the older books, but I also want to treat myself and read the newer books that I'm really excited for, because that keeps the spark alive, right? So that's backlist, and I'm so excited for that one. I have a few authors that I've almost completed their backlist, which is wild, so I love that. Okay, next up, these two go hand in hand. I have the category with the fewest number of ratings. So these are books that maybe just need a little bit of extra love. Maybe people aren't talking about them as much, but they've been on my radar. And so I want to try and give those some love if I enjoy them. And then most rated. And in my thoughts, this is most likely going to be like some kind of hyped titles that I haven't gotten to yet. But I think that I would enjoy them. So I have those in there as well. So I have my Aging on Kindle, Aging on Cut the Line, and then I also have Aging on Goodreads, and this is where things kind of start to overlap a little bit. I did not specifically keep track of what books were being added to the jar, so it's possible that books are in there more than once if they fit into more than one category. And if they fit into more than one category, it makes sense for me for them to have more representation, like more chances for them to be drawn, more chances for them to be kind of eliminated. As I'm going through, if I pull something that's a duplicate, I will most likely redraw because it's just really fun. Sorry, Drogo is itching himself. So there are duplicates in the jar, and that will happen. Those will come up. But I wanted to kind of give those books that qualify for multiple categories more opportunity to come out of the jar. So that's Aging on Goodreads in general. Next, I have my top rated books that are already on my Kindle. So these are like more hyped books, kind of similar to like the most ratings, but these are the top rated. So they have the highest average rating. So they could be a hyped book, but they could also be a book that doesn't have a ton of ratings, but the ratings are really good. So kind of prioritizing the books that seem to be liked by a majority of their readership. And that will allow some of the books that maybe aren't as hyped to kind of jump to the front of the line because they have a higher rating, even though they don't have the number of ratings. You get me? You get me. The next category is my series category. And for this one, I decided to take 26 of my currently in progress. Oh, look. Oh, hello, friend. I'm just stretching. What are you doing? Look at the sad face. So I took 26 of the categories that 26 of the series that I'm currently reading, and I put them all on slips of paper. So it has a series title, and for these ones, it will be, I'll read the next in the series that I'm up to. So if I'm on book 3 or I'm on book 2 or whatever it is, I'll read whatever book is next in the series for me. And those ones will go back in the jar so that I can prioritize some of getting some of those series completed until I've read all the books in the series, and then that one will be eliminated. Okay, next I have fewest pages. I was a free book girly, like hardcore for a bit there when I first started reading. I just could not believe that people were giving books away for free, and I was eating them up. I was downloading everything I possibly could. I was putting them all on my Kindle, and it's not until now that I realized a lot of them are like intros to series, novellas, like book zeros or like book 0.5 or what have you, and a lot of them are like more short story vibes. So I want to prioritize getting some of those out of the way. I also feel like that was a tactic that a lot of authors were using, and I think they still do, were using to introduce readers to their writing style, and so I think that that's another great way to find other authors that I might be interested in. Not super great for reducing the TBR, but it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. I would rather have my TBR continue to grow with things that I want to read than have it be out of control with things that I'm not even sure I'm gonna like. So the goal is not to have no TBR. The goal is to have a good TBR that I'm excited for. So next up, we have a few more categories. I promise we're almost done. The next one is aging sequels. So similar to the series category, this is the sequels that I've had on my TBR for the longest. So book 2 or on in a series that I haven't read yet. So these are books, like series that I really want to continue, but I just haven't gotten around to them yet. So I want to prioritize getting some of those series completed, which directly negates the next one, which is series to start. I'm realistic and I know that there's no way I'm not going to start any new series while I'm doing this jar project. This is just not possible. But I have a lot of starts to series or first in series that I want to try and get to. And again, this is a great way to find new authors or new series that I might love, and then adding those to my TBR doesn't feel like a step back in my opinion. If they're added this year, that means, sorry, I was really worried he was gonna hit the thing. If they're added this year, then to me that signals that they are still something that I'm interested in reading, and that's a good thing for me. So series to start, get those first in series out of the way, determine if you want to continue the series, and then add them to your TBR. But I digress. The next category is standalones. I have so many authors that I love that write standalones, so I didn't want to only prioritize the series. I want to give those standalones an opportunity to shine as well. So I picked 26 from my standalone category. And then the last category we have is called potpourri. It's the black one right there. It's black polka dots. And I think it's Jeopardy maybe that has like a potpourri category where it's just like random crap that like you might know it, you might not know it, we don't really know. And so for this one, I did a bunch of random crap. No, I did put a few book titles in this category, but I also focused on a lot of prompts. So I have like mood read, I have all the letters in there, I have like a color wheel, or I think I have all the colors listed. I have like a random number picker, like my husband picks, my kid picks, what have you. So that one's kind of more going to give me an opportunity to mood read a little bit and have some autonomy when I'm picking what I'm going to read for the next like batch of books, if they come out of the jar, which we'll see about that. Okay. So now that you know all about all the categories that we're working with in this big old jar, there are over 400 capsules in the jar, or there were when this challenge started. Again, I'm so sorry that this is not the original video, but I promise it's better than the original was. So we started with about 400 capsules in the jar, and as we kind of progress, the jar is going to dwindle like it has already. And then I think sometime next year, I'm going to revamp the jar and kind of go through as I naturally kind of self-destruct some things on the shelves as I read authors that I know I don't enjoy their writing style. If I have more than one book on my shelves from them, I can go ahead and remove those, and that'll help me kind of pare down that TBR a little bit more. So that'll definitely happen. It'll definitely get revamped. I don't think we're going to see the jar empty, because I think I'm going to get too impatient and I'm going to want to like revamp the jar. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to cut to the next clip. I apologize, the quality is not super great. I had to recover this from a text message that I sent to my friend, because I had sent it to her to make sure that the audio sounded right. And that was the only video that I was able to recover from the original of this video, besides like all the B-roll and the end credits stuff. That was all recovered except this intro part. So I'm gonna cut to that. Again, I apologize that the video quality is not super great, but I will see you in a few minutes and we will talk about the books that I picked from the jar, to give you a little bit more information on that, because that clip was also deleted. But we're working with it. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'll see you guys in a few. All right, so our first scoop, we got 9 books. Here's all of our little capsules. And let's go ahead and start opening them. I'm gonna start with the purple one, because purple is my husband's favorite color. So we'll give him the win. It's so easy to open. Oh, there we go. Perfect. There we go. And it is a dark pink, which means it is fewest pages. So it's going to be a little guy, which is exciting. And we have Liam by Daniela Brodsky. This is so fun. I can't. I know so many people do like just a giant jar with all the slips of paper, but like these little capsule things are so satisfying to watch on like TikTok and stuff. So I was like, I must do it. They are hard to open though. There we go. Here we go. This one is orange, which is recently added to my Cut the Line shelf. And it is Asking for It by Lila Pace. Let's do a blue one next. Did I just do a blue one? I did. That's fine. Here we go. You get to see how weak my muscles are. Okay, this one is green chevron. So this is fewest ratings on Goodreads. And it's this Mad Violet Sky by Christina Mayer. I'm so excited for this. If you don't follow her on Instagram, she posts like the hardest hitting poetry shit. And I'm telling you, I'm so here for it. But this is actually, I believe it's a YA. I'll talk more about it once I get all of these opened. But I'm so excited to finally read from her. I have a couple of her poetry books on my Kindle that I still haven't read, but it's fine. All right, this pink one's next. Dun, dun, dun. And it's red, which means it's been on my Kindle for a really long time. Wolf Hunted by Sadie Moss. You know, I wrote all of these out myself and I don't even remember writing some of these, but it's fine. This one's pink. Big muscles. Another Aging on Kindle. It's red. Ooh, Heartless by Ivy Fox. That's a really big one. I feel like a lot of people enjoy that one, so I'm excited to finally get to it. Okay, next up is a blue one. Half this video is just me struggling to open these tiny containers. I love that for me. I clearly need to work on my strength or something. Open! Oh, there we go. Okay. This one is, oh, it's the like lighter pink stripe. So this is first in a series. You Wouldn't Dare by J.M. Johnson. Ooh, I like the title of that one. It's giving bully. Should I edit out all the struggles? Maybe I should. We'll see. Oh, there we go. Okay. This one's another first in a series. Oh boy. Pawns in the Bishop's Game by Amelia Finn. Ooh. Hopefully my AC kicking on is not too loud. Here's this blue one. Oh my goodness. And, ooh, it's the dark pink, which is fewest pages again. Yay. Oh, and it's long. Fake Dating, My Grumpy Billionaire Boss by Taryn Daniels. Does anybody else hate titles like that? I'm like, you couldn't have come up with something different. Okay, last one is this pink one. I'm not even like exaggerating. It's really hard to open these. I will link these down below. Can you not sit right there? You sit right here. Get out of the way. Okay. Hopefully he'll behave himself. He's worse than a toddler sometimes. Okay, so let's talk about the books that were drawn for. Okay, but you can't be grunting. People don't like that. Okay, let's talk about the books that were drawn, and we'll go over them really quickly to just kind of give you a premise of what they are, where they came from, why they're in the jar. So I've got my category sheet here. So all of the slips have washi on the back, which helps me match them up to what they are, which you would have already seen in the clip. Anyway, okay. So first up we have Fake Dating, My Grumpy Billionaire Boss. This is a fewest pages draw. It's So I did look this one up before I read it, before this whole re-record. Anyway, and this one is the prequel to the Nantucket series, Nantucket rom-com series, I think it's called. There's 3 books in that series. This is like the prequel to it. I got it on a free book promo. And so I am going to give this one a try because why not? It's already on my Kindle. So we will be giving that one a whirl. Another fewest pages that we pulled is Liam. And this is first in a series. It looks like it's a series of Insta love stories. They're short little guys. I'm gonna give it a try. I don't love Insta love. It's not my favorite. I need tension. I need the like push and pull of it. Which can also usually be harder in a novella or a short story. So typically those ones don't have a ton of angst anyway. But we'll give Liam a try. This one's about the best man and the maid of honor at a wedding. It's like I think it's her sister and his best friend are getting married. They think they hate each other. They don't hate each other. Romance, you know, that's how it goes. Okay, next one we have, I was not talking to you, watch, but thank you. This one was first in a series, Pawns in the Bishop's Game. I love the premise of this one. It is our not stereotypical, but our typical like trope of bad boy, good girl. She comes from like a police officer family. Like her brother is a police officer and he's like the bad boy. He like works for this club and he's like involved in some kind of situation that she's investigating him for, basically. She's like a lawyer and they're trying to like build a case against his boss, and so they're trying to like kind of target him, get close to him to kind of get more information. So I'm definitely intrigued by this one. The main character's name is Jess, which is weird because my name is Jess, but I think it'll be interesting. Definitely going to give that one a whirl as well. Oh, I should also mention, oh, well, I kind of did. That one was free. This one was that one's on my Kindle as well. I will say if they're not on Kindle Unlimited. But so far, these are all available or they're free. So, next is You Wouldn't Dare by J.M. Johnson. So when I went to do some more research on this one, it is first in a series. The author no longer publishes. Either they've pulled their books from Amazon or they no longer have them available for Amazon. So because of that, I won't be reading this one. I don't feel like it's fair to read a book that nobody else can read and be like, oh, I really actually enjoyed this book. Oh, the characters were really cool. And then you can't read it. Like, I just feel like that's really unfair. So I did remove this one from the shelves. This one's self-destructed because I won't be reading it. Going along that, we have Heartless. And this one is Aging on Kindle. So I had this one on my Kindle. But I did some more research. This one's a reverse harem and it takes place in a high school setting. I don't love, or I should say why choose. I don't love why choose anyway, but I also struggle with why choose in a high school setting. I just find it unrealistic that a high schooler would be able to maintain that many relationships because I myself can barely maintain my one relationship as an adult. So this one is also getting self-destructed. I know it's not for me. I've read enough why choose romances that I know that a why choose in high school is just not it for me. So that one is gone. Next we have Wolf Hunted. This one's also Aging on Kindle. This one is the first in the Last Shifter series. So I'm guessing that she's the last shifter of some kind, but the blurb talks about like 4 guys like coming to save her, which, taking back all the things I just said about not liking why choose, I find why choose more palatable in a paranormal or fantasy setting. So because this one has the like shifter vibe to it, like the pack mentality, I am going to give this one a try and see how it goes. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Those ones we already did. Okay. Next we have this Mad Violet Sky, and this one is fewest ratings. So that just means that it doesn't have a ton of ratings on Goodreads. It's not reflecting on the average at all. I've been following the author of this, Christina Mayer, on Instagram for a wicked long time. She mainly writes poetry, but she's written a few fiction novels. I'm so excited because I'm obsessed with her poetry. She posts like these like gorgeous little like things in the typewriter. Ugh, it's so good. I highly recommend to go find her on Instagram because it's amazing. But this will be my first read from her. I have never actually read any of her poetry books. I just stalk her on Instagram, but it's fine. From the blurb of this one, we're following Violet and Sky, and they're like reunited at this hotel that they vacationed at like when they were growing up, kind of like a beach house but at a hotel instead of like a cabin or something. And they're reunited there. There's been like some years have passed, but I think it's a YA. I'm pretty sure that Violet is like 17, so it's YA. Something happened that like tore them apart. I think it's like light romance. I don't think the focus is romance, but there is a little bit of that in there. But I think it's more just like young adult coming of age type of story. But I'm so excited because I love her poetry, so I'm really excited to see how her fiction reads. Okay, we've got two more. We'll do Jenica All Over next. I've been like batching these, not even on purpose. This one is also fewest ratings, so I looked into this one as well, and the first book is still available, but it's been years since the first book was published, and there's no second book. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'm pretty sure it's this one and not the other one. I'm pretty positive. So I just don't love the idea of starting a series that I cannot finish, or like maybe we'll be able to read a sequel like someday maybe. So I'm self-destructing this one as well. I just don't love the idea of getting like stuck on a cliffhanger and then like the book, like the next book never existing. That just sounds terrible to me. So self-destructed, done, decision made. And lastly, we have Asking for It. And this one is orange. This one was recently added to my Cut the Line shelf. And I know exactly why. I'm in so many book groups on Facebook, and I will like save posts that are like tropes or like plot lines that interest me, so I can go back and like comb through the recs and add them to my TBR, which is probably why we're in this mess. But anyway, and this was from a saved post about CNC, or consensual non-consent, which I really love in books, which sounds really weird, but it's fine. We're not yucking anybody's yums here. We all like what we like. It's fine. And so this was added because of that. So it, from what I understand, it's about a girl who's like looking, she thinks she's like weird because this is like what she wants, and she's like trying to find somebody to do what she wants basically. So we're gonna give it a try because, like I said, it's been recently added and it has a trope that I really enjoy in books, which is consensual non-consent. One thing that I forgot to mention in the opening clip is that this is inspired by, or the title is inspired by Becca and the Books on YouTube here. I will link her channel and her self-destructing books video down below, her most recent one. She picks, I don't know if it's like 12 or 10. She picks a bunch of books for the year, and she's basically like, these will self-destruct at the end of the year if I don't read them. So I kind of got the idea of the title from that, kind of like they're gonna self-destruct. I just loved the terminology. I was also really inspired by Beth, and I'll link her channel below as well, from her Bookshelf Ultimatum series. She helped inspire kind of some of the intro and all of that, and just this whole process of kind of demolishing the TBR, I feel like, is all over BookTube. So there's so many people I've been inspired by, but Beth and Becca, funny, are my top two. So I'm going to link their channels, and either their self-destructing book video for Becca will be linked, and then Beth's book ultimatum playlist will be linked below as well. Just wanted to give credit to those that have inspired me for this series. Hello. Okay, so let's recap our first self-destructing scoop episode. I am already obsessed with this jar. So obsessed. So I put all of the slips in this little envelope here so that we can talk about them all, and I have them all here. So I'll just kind of start with whatever's first. So, Pawns and the Bishop's Game by Amelia Finn. I read this one. I think I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It follows Jess and Kane. She is like the traditional like good girl kind of vibe. She is like training to be a lawyer, and he is a bad boy, and she is like investigating him. Which lands her at this like club, and you know, she gets into some trouble. He helps her, and then she goes back to the club to like find him, and then he's getting in trouble, and so like she helps him. So there was a lot of that kind of back and forth part of that, which wasn't my favorite. I felt like it took a while, like he was saving her, and then she was saving him, and then he was saving her again, and I was like, all right, how much trouble can y'all get into in one week? Like, seriously. But overall, I really liked it. It did start to pick up around the halfway mark, which most books tend to do. And this one had a couple of really good twists in it, so I enjoyed that. So I'm really glad that I started this series. I'm definitely gonna plan to continue on reading in the series. And that's Pawns and the Bishop's Game. Let's see what's next. This Mad Violet Sky by Christina Mayer. I absolutely loved this one. I gave it 5 stars. This one follows Violet and Sky, and they are like reunited at this like hotel that they grew up like vacationing at as children, because their siblings are getting married. Her brother and his sister are getting married, and there's like some foreshadowing of like something that happened in the past that like broke them apart, and you kind of get to watch them like go through that healing process. There's a lot of grief in here. It's a very light romance, I would say. It is definitely clean, and it's more so like a coming of age story versus like a regular like true romance, I would say. I gave a little bit more detail in my July wrap-up video, which comes out after this, so that won't help you. But if you dreadful, crushing it. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. It's a very poetic, very flowery writing style, so definitely make sure that if you don't like that kind of writing, this is not the book for you. The author also writes poetry, so that's a big portion of why she writes the way she writes, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was beautifully written. I highlighted like 120 things. It was crazy. All right, next we have Jenica All Over. This one was self-destructed, so I didn't read that one. I'm gonna try and keep them separate. I bought jars so that I can keep track, and I'm gonna have to get the jars in a second. You Wouldn't Dare was also self-destructed. Wolf Hunted by Sadie Moss. This one I DNF'd. I just could not get into it at all. I found the characters not very engaging. I felt very bored, and I was like, all right, like, let's go. Like, make something happen. And I think I got like 15% in, and like nothing had really happened. So unfortunately that was a DNF, but hey, this is how we learn about our reading taste. We read, we DNF, we finish, whatever it is. Dang furnace. At least the dog's not hanging out, but shouldn't probably speak so much. I did read Liam. Liam was cute. It's a short Insta love, which is not totally my jam. I don't love Insta love. This one, they were the maid of honor and like the best man for their friend's wedding. I think one of them was a sibling. And they are like, oh, I don't actually hate you. I actually am obsessed with you. Like, let's bone. Which was fine. Again, Insta love, if you're cool with that. It's not my favorite, honestly. But I keep reading it because I have so many like Insta love novellas on my Kindle. And I feel like weird about not reading them because I already have them. Also, what is my hair doing? I'm so sorry. I took like that shower this morning. You know, the shower. The one that like you spend like 4 hours in there and like moisturizing and whatnot. So love that for me. Heartless by Ivy Fox. This one was a self-destruct. I'm pretty sure it was a Why Choose, and so I didn't want to read it, and so I didn't. Fake Dating, My Grumpy Billionaire Boss. I did read this one. I didn't love it. Mostly because if you have a title that's about fake dating your grumpy billionaire boss, there better be some fake dating moments, and there better be some grumpy boss moments. He just wasn't grumpy. Like, he just was not. When you hear grumpy boss, like, you want him to be grumpy, and he was not grumpy enough for me. So it was fine, but I don't plan to continue the series. I didn't love it. I don't remember the characters' names even. But yeah, it wasn't great. I wasn't there for it. And lastly, we have Asking for It. This one I was also a DNF. I started it. I was really excited for it because it had CNC, or consensual non-consent, which I usually like in books. But she was just like so, like, she just kept talking about wanting it, and it just pulled me out of the story. I couldn't connect. I was like, all right, girl, like, we get it. You want him to like take advantage of you. It's fine, but like, stop talking about it. Like, something about it just like did not hit for me. So that was a DNF. So I am a very like visual person. Like, I want to see the numbers, right? So I got some more jars because why not? And I want to track what goes where to just kind of be able to see the progress. Because as this empties, I mean, that obviously you can see the progress there, but I don't know. I wanted another option. So I just wrote, you can't see it, but read, DNF, and self-destructed. So for this episode, we had 3 books we self-destructed. So those are going to go right in there. I don't know. That's satisfying to me. We had 2 DNFs. So those will go in this jar. Maybe I'll decorate them before the next episode. Oh, that's an annoying sound. I'm sorry. And then we read 4 books. So those will go in the red jar. I don't know. That just seems satisfying. So Thank you so much for watching. I am absolutely obsessed with this series already, and if you are too, please like this video and don't forget to subscribe for the next episode. It will be coming very, very soon. I have so many fun things planned. I'm so excited. And I want to know what book, if any of these you've read before, or let me know what you're currently reading down below, and I will talk to you guys so soon. Have a good one. Bye.